Good morning. You're watching Much Ado About Something today, and I'm Donna, and I'm glad that you're here. Well, it's a cold and rainy day. It's not any sun shining. I'm going out here to get the trash can at the end of the road, and you're welcome to come with me. I'm going to bring you along with me, and along the way, we'll look and see what's blooming out there in the front yard. Now, there are quite a few really pretty blooms out here. A lot of them have come and gone, like the crocuses. A lot of them are at the end of their peak blooming, and some are just now coming up. You can see that the daffodils are just laying over with rain. Isn't that pretty? Those raindrops on the back of that daffodil. And there are a lot of the really pretty solid yellow daffodils blooming, which I want to say those are probably my favorites. There'll be some hyacinths coming up here soon. The green is already up, but the blooms are not there yet. On this side of the porch, on these gardens, you can see there are quite a few blooms. Going around and kind of edging around the rocks. And they are really pretty. There's some irises, the greens coming up here in the back. And that camellia. That thing is still blooming. Just covered in beautiful blooms. Pretty all the way around. Still loaded with unopened bulbs. So there's going to be some more beauty coming out. That's always exciting. You can see there's some other things coming up here. But winter is not over yet, and there's still a lot of winter left. So that means there's going to be some freezing days. There's going to be more cold weather. And I don't want everything to pop out too early, because then it's always that chance that it gets frozen and bit back. Let me see if they've already... Yep, they've already emptied the trash can, so we can pull it up. I did call about the trash can. It does not have a lid. But nobody seems to care. They haven't sent anybody out here to fix it. Sorry about that. Everything's wet out here and slippery. This thing is pretty loud when you drag it around to go up here where it goes. Now here's the herb garden. It just looks like a bunch of sticks sticking up right now. The rosemary and the thyme still look good, and we could still harvest that if we needed that. And it's just tempting to get a little piece of that thyme and just smell it. Here's another little thing of rosemary that I put in here. These are sage. Some things just need to be cut back. The rocks are beautiful. I love the rock wall that lines our flower beds. It's still winter, And to see this little pops of beautiful daffodils here in the winter time, it's just uplifting. There's a lot of work to be done out here. There always is at this time of the year. We're going to schedule a work day and get out here and work, get some of the stuff pulled together, get some of the dead cut back, add whatever amendments we need to add to the soil. But it's always pretty to see the new growth. Now we'll just head on back inside. I am going to come on in the kitchen and fix a cup of tea. I haven't had a cup of tea yet. And today I've just picked out this peach tea and black tea that I love. I'm just going to try and do it this way since I only have one hand available. I'm filming with the other hand. There we go. Yeah, it's cold this morning. But just seeing those little blooms popping out sure does excite me about the spring and the summer coming. Got a treat this morning. Me and Donald was able to go to the grocery store and pick up a few things. You know, I ended the February Three Rivers Challenge. I ended it about halfway through February because I was fixing the same things over and over. We fix a lot of the same things. I didn't really realize it until we did that challenge, but we do. We just eat a lot of the same things. I'm going to fix baked potatoes later. We're going to have loaded baked potatoes for supper. And loaded baked potatoes for us just means something like broccoli, some kind of meat, some kind of cheese, salt and pepper, just whatever anybody wants to put on it. That's what we do when we make loaded baked potatoes, and I really love them. I love potatoes anyway, and so to load them up, that makes a delicious treat. I already have the oven preheated to 350. So all I have to do is wash these potatoes up, which I already have washed them. I sprayed them with that vegetable wash, and I just washed them up. I just place mine on the rack inside the oven. I don't wrap them with aluminum foil. And they cook just as good, believe it or not. I learned to just cut out the foil whenever I was going through that stage when I wanted to see how much I could cut out that wasn't actually food. Foil was one of those things that I cut out. I was trying to cut out as many things from our grocery list that were non-edible that I could, that we didn't absolutely need. My husband was in a massive job layoff, and I was probably 7 or 8 months pregnant when he was in that massive job layoff. So it became really necessary that we cut back on everything that we could. So thank goodness I was already a frugal person to begin with, and I was able to fall back on a lot of the frugal things I had learned growing up, and we made it through that. It was a real struggle though. Sometimes we were a family of 4 and I was pregnant. I would only have $20 to go get groceries. And a friend of mine was saying, well, $20 went a long way back then. The kids were like, yeah, Mom, you could buy more for $20 back then. Not really. This was in the, early 90s. So no, not really. It wasn't, prices were still high. Things were really expensive. And so it just took ingenuity, and it took thought. And so while I was going through my grocery list, I thought, well, what can I absolutely cut out? I cannot cut out toilet paper because we needed that. I guess if I had to, I could have made the flannel cloths and went that route, but I didn't want to do that because I was getting ready to have to change diapers anyway. And so we kept our toilet paper. I've never went without toilet paper except growing up. We cut out paper towels. I haven't bought paper towels, and I want to say, on a regular basis. I think I picked up a pack of paper towels one time to take to a party because that's what they asked me to bring when there was a lot of people, if I could bring paper towels. So I think I have bought them for instances like that. But as far as here for personal use, I haven't bought paper towels, and it's probably been, I want to say, at least 34 years. That's a long time. We've made it just fine without paper towels. I do buy baby wipes. I still buy baby wipes. I have 6 grandchildren, one older who has handicaps and disabilities, and so she requires we have baby wipes because, I don't want to call them baby wipes if you don't use them on a baby, but that's what we buy. They are baby wipes on the box. So we buy baby wipes and use them mainly for her, but for a lot of other things too. I just did a how to clean a box fan video, and in that video I used those baby wipes because that fan was so dirty. But I try to use a minimal amount if I can. If I have to clean up anything that I have to clean and just throw away, it's just so dirty that it wouldn't be effective to wash like a cloth, then I'll use those baby wipes. But I don't use those often. That's not an often thing that I use. We use cloths, and that's what we've used all these years. I've just got a little pile of cut up cloths. You've probably noticed them in my kitchen. I have a lot of these white cloths on hand. We buy these at Sam's. They're kind of like bar cloths, just small towels. And right here on my kitchen island, under this stack of pot holders, I've got so many pot holders. Maybe it's time to go through these and decide if I need all these or not. But I have all these cloths that are in this little basket, and that's what we use to clean up messes and stuff. They're stained, but they're not dirty. Stains are not dirt. When you use something over and over for a long time, they'll be a little stained. And then I've got all of these pot holders. I'm going to have to go through these here before you know it, because I'm sure I'm not using all these things at one time. I think I probably used these top maybe 6 or 8 right here at a time when I'm making a meal. But we haven't bought paper towels in a long time for personal use here around the house because, we switched over to the cloth. That was one of the things that I cut out. Another thing I cut out was plastic wrap. I cut out aluminum foil for a long time. I buy aluminum foil now and just use it in very minimal cases where I might need aluminum foil, but not often. We don't use it often. If we can get by with it, doing without it, then we do. Those are just good budget-friendly tips. I'm conscious anyway of what I'm constantly throwing away, and those were things that I could cut out of the budget and buy some real food with. And of course, I've got a video on, I think it's way in the beginning when I started my channel, on how to save on groceries and it tells you all about that if you're interested. If you want to look back in all my videos and see some of the things that we did that helped us get through that, and they're just good habits in general, then maybe that can help you. Well, today I got a lot to do in here. It's an inside day job. I can't do anything outside because it's just rainy. I'm going to sit down and enjoy my tea with lemon. I am so thankful to have lemon. We take so many things for granted. To have these beautiful lemons right here at our fingertips, just to enjoy as we will. I think maybe later I'll make some lemon bars, and if I do that in a later video, I'll share it with you because they are so delicious. I love to make lemon bars whenever I get lemons, as well as having them in my tea and in my water.
Okay, now.
Thank you. I am in the living room. Yeah, I was slow to get started today. I mean, it's one of those cold, rainy days. I got the trash took out real early this morning. I got up really early this morning. I got up at about 4 o'clock and did some things that I needed to do around here. But it's been a cozy get on the couch with a blanket day. I don't have the heat turned up because you never know around here if it's going to warm up or not. If it warmed up, I didn't want the house all warm. Plus, I'm cooking some this morning. I'm going to bake those baked potatoes, and that'll take about an hour at least for those big potatoes for me to bake them. So I thought I won't, turn the heat up too high while we're enjoying our oven and stuff being on. But I've been cuddled up. I've been on the phone this morning doing some work. And my friend gave me this beautiful blanket. Isn't it beautiful? She made it for me. My friend Sharon, thank you, Sharon. I've been enjoying this blanket that you made for me. So I've been just cuddled up here on the couch working from my phone today. And then when the grandbabies got here, of course, the grandkids, I've been making their food and getting on the ball here, getting things done around here. Now I'm just going to sit down and have this cup of tea and enjoy it. I've got to go in there in the kitchen and work on my ferments today. I have kombucha tea that I keep going. I have kefir water that I keep going. And I have my sourdough starter. So I've got all these things going on. And sometimes I may even have vinegar. I don't have any vinegar going now. My vinegar's finished, so I've got it capped off. But I do have those other ferments that I'll have to take care of today. So I'll be doing that, making sure I feed them and everything looks healthy and everything looks good. That'll take me a little while to get through that today. I have a day when I have to take care of the plants. I have to take care of my animals outside every day, the chickens, the rabbits, our dog. Those animals outside need care every day, so I do that. I haven't done that yet today. I'm waiting till a little bit later in the day when it warms up. If it warms up some, I'll probably run out there midday and feed them and take care of them. And then I've got the 2 cats inside, my grandkids. I've got a husband and a home. So it's a lot that keeps me busy every day. I try to bring you along when I can. Sometimes it's so busy that I have to not film that day because, whenever you film, it takes twice as long to get anything done. But there are things that are coming up that I really want to share with you. I've got some pomegranate juice in there. I'm dying to make pomegranate jelly. That stuff is so delicious. I love it. It's so good. I love pomegranate juice, which reminds me, I haven't taken my elderberry syrup today. While my tea cools, I'm just going to grab this elderberry syrup out of here, shake it up really good, and take a dose of it. The tea will feel really good on my throat today. I haven't had a sore throat, and I'm thankful because everybody around me really has had a sore throat. There's been some things going around, but I think because I've been taking this elderberry syrup, I haven't. It didn't go full blown. I had a scratchy throat for a few days, but I just kept taking this. I think I increased my dose to not only just in the morning, but also in the evening, and it's really helped me, I'm telling you. I don't regret making it, and this is the best one I've ever made. I have a video on how to make elderberry syrup if you're interested. It's a great immune booster. It's wonderful. Black elderberries have so many benefits. I just take this little, it's probably a 1 ounce little cup every day. That's how I take it, just to keep my immune system stimulated at this time of the year. And of course I do all the other things too. I'm careful where I go, try to distance a little bit, wash my hands really good. All my little grandkids' art. And these magnets, they love to play and spell words. The little ones that's just learning to do that love to spell words all over the, and put them in, you know, on their papers and hang them on the refrigerator. And of course, one of the good things about the elderberry syrup is you want to be sure you make it the way that that you like it, but a way that you can take it. There's a lot of ways to make elderberry syrup, and I think I've shared with you before how when we were making it growing up, they didn't add anything to it. It was just boiled elderberries. It was elderberries that had been simmered on the stove, and they added water over them, boiled them, and that was it. That was your elderberry syrup, and that's a little tart without any kind of other flavors in it, but it's high in vitamin C, and it's really good for you. I'm going to go ahead and wash my potatoes up and get them over here in the stove. So those will be cooking, and I'll probably have one of these for lunch. Not this whole big thing. These are really big potatoes. Look at them. I mean, there's my hand. You can see how far down my arm it goes. It covers my wrist. They're really good potatoes. These are Idaho potatoes. We get them from Sam's. I love them this big because, of course, I cut them in half. So half of one of these potatoes would probably equal a regular sized potato. Not all of them are quite as big. You know, some of them are kind of not quite as big. But still, all in all, these are pretty big potatoes. I've already washed them. I'm going to go ahead and lay them on my rack in my oven. We were talking the other day, my husband and I, about baked potatoes. We were talking about whether or not we like to eat the skin. Now, my oven needs to be cleaned. I have got that on my spring cleaning list. My oven has so much use that I barely get a minute to get it cleaned. I usually clean it late at night when I know I won't be needing it. I've got this oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I'll probably cook these potatoes probably for about an hour. At least an hour. It may take a little longer because some of them are so big. But we were talking about whether or not we like the skin on a potato. I can't eat the skin, and I know there's a lot of vitamins up under the potatoes. I realize that up under the skin, there's a lot of flavor and vitamins. And I think if you take those potato skins and roast them in the oven with salt, I can eat them that way. But just as far as trying to peel off this skin and eat it after this is cooked, I never do it. It's a texture thing. I would do it if I felt like I needed those vitamins, but in general, I don't eat the potato skin unless it's fixed, kind of like a baked chip. But Donald, he says he can eat them either way. It doesn't bother him a bit to just go right ahead and eat his skin along with his potato. I guess there's two schools of that, right? People that can eat their potato skins and people that don't want to. But I don't usually eat them if I don't have to. So I've got my kefir water, and I'm going to be, I won't bring you along for the whole thing. This won't be a video about how to keep your kefir things fed. I won't do that to you today. Included in a daily vlog. If I did that, I would do an individual video on that. I would do it individually, how to feed your ferments. Maybe I'll do a video on that one day soon. But here I've got my kefir water, and I keep about 3 of these going. There's my little grains down at the bottom. And it's time to feed this and to drain off this kefir water so I can drink it throughout the day. Some of them have a little more liquid than the others. But I like to keep a good strain of, oh, I hit the cast iron pan. It sounded like a bell, didn't it? And the plate. But here we go. I've got them. This is a darkened jar. This jar is green, and this is just a clear jar. Not much difference in them. I was just trying to see if they kept better in a darkened jar, because sometimes it's pretty lit up in here in my kitchen. But what I'll do with this is just drain most of this kefir water off and put it in a pitcher or a jug or a jar or something in the refrigerator, and I'll drink it from there. And then I'll go ahead and make up the food that I need to feed these. It's not a lot of food. It's just about a third of maybe a teaspoon and a few cups of water that I'll mix together and put in here to feed these kefir grains. My sourdough starter is living right here on the island, and I've been using it quite a bit, but it's time to go ahead and feed it again. It's cool in here this morning, so it's not in too dire straits. I usually like to keep it where when I shake it, I see some bubbles, and then I know it's got some food left to eat. So you can see a few bubbles in there. But it is definitely time to go ahead and feed it. I feed it every 3 to 5 days when I leave it out, so that it's ready to make bread when I need it. And then over here where I keep my kombucha, this is just where I keep my starters. And over here is the kombucha that I usually drink out of. You can see it's got a good starter going on the top. But I need to go ahead and make new tea and let it cool off so I can go ahead and put my scobies onto the new tea. It is so yeasty in here that you can see the yeast floating on these stems of plants that I'm trying to root in this water over here. I usually don't have a bit of trouble getting any kind of thing started that needs a yeast. Like a sourdough starter, which I keep one of those running always because I've still got the parent gene line going from the first starter I ever used 36, 37, maybe much older than that, years ago, when my friend's mother gave me that sourdough starter. I've still got that chain of sourdough starter going. I keep some in my freezer and bags, and I've shared that with you guys before. Well, it's very yeasty in here. I got a lot of ferments going on, so I don't have any trouble making any kind of vinegar, kombucha starters. I don't have any trouble with that around here. When it's cold like it is, they don't need quite as much feeding, but now in the summertime when it gets warmed up in this house and I have to keep all this stuff fed, then that's when I'll divide some, put it in the refrigerator, keep it cooler so I don't have to feed it as often. But today's a day when I'll have to be doing that so I can keep my starters alive. The plants are still doing good. All of the plants that I repotted and put here on this shelf to organize them a little bit are still looking really good. There's a Cookie moment. Cookie's looking outside. Hey, buddy. He heard his name. Now he's going to pet himself with my legs. The Hoya's still growing. It's looking good. That plant's looking pretty. This was just the start of my daughter's plant that she gave me. And I think it's beautiful. I'm glad that it's doing well because those plants mean the most to me, the ones that she gives me. This is the one, I think I bought this one at Mitchell's Nursery when they got all their new plants in, and my daughter and I went and looked. I think this is the one of the ones that I got. It's a chain of hearts. It looks like it's doing okay. It might be a little bit dry here. I see a little bit of a dry leaf. I keep a fan going in the house to circulate air, so some of these may need more humidity. I thought this begonia needed more humidity, so I put it in this glass container, and it's doing much better than it was before I put it in here. I also worked here in the foyer a little bit. I took down all of the snowmen and the Christmas tree that was there on top that had the little red apples on it. I don't know if you saw that video where I decorated and I had that up And I was going to keep that up until spring. But I just went ahead and took those snowmen down and put them in a tote. And now I have the geese. I have some eggs for spring and Easter that's coming up. And I'm going to go maybe to some place that has beautiful silk flowers and get some flowers to go in this corner over here, right here, in this beautiful picture that I've got. So I'm going to look forward to that one day. Maybe I'll bring you along with me when I go shop for flowers for that corner. I want beautiful spring flowers. I also have another idea. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to use beautiful spring flowers or if I'm going to do something I used to do in the 80s, which I might do that. I'll share that with you. However that turns out, I'll be sure and share it with you. I have not redecorated in here in the dining room. I was going to do some redecorating, but I have not had a chance to do that. There's been a lot going on. So that has been put off on hold for when I can get that done. My husband, he will help me. These pictures are huge. The one that's here, if I decide to change it out, or the one that I might put up, they're really big. It's not really something I can do myself anymore. I used to tear down the whole house. He would come home and I would have already took everything down, painted the room, and put everything back. But I hadn't been like that in a while. I've just had a lot going on. I only had 3 children. Of course, I did babysit other people's children when I was raising my children. I had other children that I also took care of. But they went home, so I raised 3 children. Now I have 6 grandchildren, so my baby blessings have doubled, and that's okay. I love it, but that's where a lot of my time and energy goes, unlike decorating a house where it used to go. Now, I do have a china cabinet in here in this little dining area, and it's right here, and that showcases my love of blue and white. Now, I love blue and white. And I love antique hand-cut crystal. And I have a few pieces of that. That one right there in the middle, that's a very old hand-cut piece of crystal. And then I have a few things that my children have given me over the years, or my husband, or maybe even friends, but mostly my family that loves me, that knows what I really like, have gifted me these beautiful things over the years, and that's what's in my china cabinet. And of course, up on top, I have all of the, my son made me this little picket fence, and my daughter-in-law put the blessings on it. And then I have some blue and white things up there. And of course, I have things with friends. I collect things that say friends. I don't have a huge collection, but I have them interspersed throughout the house, if you've noticed. So that's on top of the china cabinet. And that's a breadboard up there. That long board you see with the little pig sticking on it right there. That's a French bread board that I use whenever I bake French loaves of bread. I've shared some of this artwork with you guys before. I've shared with you where it all came from, where, why it means so much, why I've got it in here. But maybe we'll do that again when we redecorate. If I bring you along with me, if I can get it done and film, then I'll show you and I'll tell you about some of the things that I keep here in my dining room. Well, that's all I have to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed coming along. I hope I inspired you in some way, or entertained you, or just was some company for the day. However it works out, I'm glad that you're here. If you like lifestyle, which my lifestyle is an Appalachian lifestyle. I'm an Appalachian here, and I love that lifestyle. I've got a lot of things that I've learned from that I like to share. I'm also budget friendly, always on a budget because I live on a budget, and home and garden. So there's a lot of home and garden related things that I share with here on a daily basis. And you know the weather's starting to change, so there'll be more garden things that'll be showing up. I'm glad that you came. If you like those kind of things, then you're in the right place. And if you'd like to like, share, and subscribe, that helps me out. It's how this thing works. And I would appreciate if you would do that. And of course, if you've got something to say, just leave a comment. I love your comments. There might be some issue with comments here and there, and let me assure you that's not under my control. I try to answer every comment that I get, and I enjoy doing it. I thank you for joining me today. I hope you come back for the next video. Thank you, like always. Until next time.